Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of the Spicy Homemaker Podcast. My name's Melissa, and you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, and Periscope as Spicy Homemaker. Today is Thursday. Oh my goodness, Thursday, December 31st, 2015. It's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. By the time you get this, it will definitely be 2016. So, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing to watch my podcast and spend some time with me. I have so much to talk about with you guys. I am excited about so many things. There's so many things that I want to show you, want to share with you. So we're going to dive right in. And first, I just want to show you my party earrings. My son, who's 13, Kylan, bought me these earrings for Christmas. I think they're party earrings. What do you think? So I thought, New Year's Eve, podcasting, I might as well put my party earrings on. So I did. So, let's talk about the winner of the 500 plus subscription on YouTube. We have over 500 subscribers for the Spicy Homemaker Podcast. Thank you. That's amazing. It just blows my mind. I really did not think, I don't know what I thought, to be quite honest, but getting over 500 subscribers, people who want to watch this, is just amazing. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we had a giveaway for that. And Elise, who is also known as Elise Deer on Ravelry, was the winner. She was number 27. She said the question was, what are your crafting goals for 2016? And Elise wrote, my goal this year is to learn to sew and to spin. I am currently spinning my first braid of fiber, and it's very wonky. I totally know what you mean. I've had the same issue. I definitely need some practice, and that's all it really takes. Seriously, just keep doing it. You'll get it. I am hoping to try different techniques for plying and drafting. And plying is something I still have not done. So I'm really hoping to cross that bridge soon. But I had a variety of prizes you could choose from. And Elise chose the Gales Art Sock Blank. So this will be going out to her. I told her I would be sending it out this week. It did not happen. We have some really, really bad flooding in the area. And actually, I have an unexpected day of vacation today because they closed our building, which we almost never close our building for anything. But the flooding is so bad right now in the area that a lot of people are in some, where I live is perfectly fine, but traveling to certain parts, particularly in St. Louis, Missouri, near the Mississippi River, it's really, really bad right now. I think last count I had heard yesterday, 13 people have already died from this flooding. It's awful. You see whole houses floating down the river. It's just been, it's awful. It's December here. It should be cold. It is getting cold now. Maybe snowing, but we had just a bunch of rain and some warm days, and we actually had a window. I have a walkout basement. That's where I podcast. It's my craft room. And yeah, I'm looking at the window right now. Some major leaking in a window. So we are repairing that as we speak. And it's been a little rough here, but we're safe, so that's good. Let's talk about the knit-alongs that are going on real quick. Okay, so the first one is the Knit My Mitts knit-along. That goes till the end of January, and there's a thread in my in the Spicy Homemaker Podcast Ravelry group that explains it. And I have a pattern of fingerless mitts, which, by the way, Mel, one of my moderators in Australia, made a beautiful pair right here of brown ones to donate, because you can make them just for you and post a picture in there. You can do whatever you want in that thread, to be quite honest. And but if you choose to do the charity option, you can donate anything you want and send it to me, PM me, I'll send you my address. This is a pair that she made. They're beautiful. Very sturdy, brown, soft. I love them. So we'll be handing these out to people in St. Louis who are homeless. in January. And there's more information in that thread. But on that same note, I wanted to show these. Dag made these. Dag is the Indie Dyer, the first Indie Dyer of the month that I have had on the podcast. She is an Indie Dyer with, her company is called Zia Wools on Etsy. And she made these out of her hand spun mittens. And they are so nice. I mean, these are too big for me, but these are meant for people on the streets. They're sturdy, but they're not scratchy. They're just so well made. I'm so impressed with these. I keep putting these on and I love them. Thank you so much for sending these. Mel and Dag both. Thank you. And this just makes me think, looking at these two, I think one of the first things I'll make out of my hand spun is mittens. I really like how these feel. I like how these look. I think even if your hand spun comes out a little bit thick and thin, it will look fine in mittens. It will look great. So she's inspired me to do that. These, if she didn't tell me these were hand spun, I wouldn't know. I mean, this is very well made. It looks really good. Not that, you know, I'm assuming, and this is totally wrong of me, that people's hand spun is like mine, which is not always consistent, and that's not true. Clearly, there is way more experienced spinners, such as Dag and a whole slew of other people. So one day, my spinning will look like this. So there's that. Check it out. And I'm going to start a new knit along for 2016, and it's going to be a comfort knit along. So I'll put more details in the thread. I'll start one. But I'm going to run this from now until March. Sometime in March. You'll see the end date in there, probably the end of March. My thought is this. A lot of people did a lot of Christmas knitting. And now it's after Christmas, the holiday rush is over. And if you're anything like me, I always like to have a comfort knit on the needles. It's not to say that you can't knit something more intricate, but you know, vanilla socks, that's a comfort knit. Garter stitch, stockinette, those are comfort knits. Something you don't really have to think about, something you knit with your friends, something you knit while you watch TV, something that just brings you comfort, you know. It's your mashed potatoes and gravy and fried chicken knitting, right? So post in the thread. I'm not sure how I'm going to set that up. It'll be a surprise. Go ahead and look at it. And I think what I'm going to do is pull a winner once a month. So I think I'm going to do, yeah. So you have the option to win 3 different times. And yeah, if you're interested in that, post away. Washcloths, comfort knit. Garter stitch, comfort knit. Stockinette, comfort knit. Like I said, something that's soothing, something that doesn't require a ton of brain power, something that brings you comfort, okay? So that is the new one for us. So the next thing I want to talk about, okay, so I'm watching all these podcasts, end of year wrap-ups that so many people have done, and I love them. They're great. And I love, I don't know if Andy started it, but Andy from Andre Sue Knits did an end of year knits, all her knitting for the entire year. She did a great little expose at the end, a summary, showed all the pictures. I thought that was such a great idea, and a few other people kind of did that or talked about them. But then on Instagram, someone started a thing with the hashtag WIDN, which stands for what I'm doing now, if you ever get that hashtag. And it's, what was your favorite knit of 2015? What did you knit that was your favorite? And Dag, she's Paper Dag on Instagram and Ravelry, asked me that, and I haven't been able to post back on that yet because I haven't taken a great picture of it. And I thought about it, and it gave me a couple ideas. One, I have not done a lot of focused knitting in 2015, which doesn't produce too much. Realizing I get distracted easily, and there's a time and place for that, but I want to have more finished objects that I am proud of, or that I knit for a reason, that I want to wear, that I want to gift, and I don't always do that. Sometimes I just knit it for the process, which I never ever thought I was a process knitter. And so I'm starting to become a little bit more that way. I do like the end product, but I do like the process of knitting. So that's a bit of a change for me. But regardless, I did enjoy the finished product of my featherweight cardigan. It was definitely a potato chippy knit. It wasn't exceptionally enjoyable. It wasn't awful. And I'm not on the featherweight cardigan bandwagon. It's okay. I wouldn't knit it again. I wasn't exceptionally pleased with the fit of it, and it has nothing to do with the pattern. It's how it's designed. And it's just me. So my favorite knit of this year is what I'm wearing. And it is, I think I showed this on my first podcast, Whispering Island Shawl by Helen Stewart. Let me show that. And if you've never knit a Helen Stewart pattern, and she also has the Curious Handmade podcast, I highly recommend it. She writes patterns in a very unique but very easy way. It's a line by line kind of thing, and it tells you the stitch count at every single row, tells you what's the percentage complete at the end of the row, or at certain intervals. So for instance, when you hit 5%, it's like you're 5% done at this particular row with the pattern, 10%, 15%, so on and so forth. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. So if there's something you want, if you never knit a shawl before and you're thinking about it, I would recommend one of her patterns. She has patterns that are very easy to follow, but enough interest to keep you interested. It's really good. This is knit with Woolen Rabbits. Woolen Rabbit is one of my favorite indie dyers. And this is the O Ruby colorway in the loose, I believe it's the Lucent base. So this is my favorite knit of 2015. I knit this while recovering from a surgery I had in July. I had to take a week off from work, and I knit this it was monogamously. It took me about a week to do. So here it is. Hopefully this podcast will give me something that I can clip out and post on Instagram for my favorite knit of 2015. Hopefully next year. I only had 2 to choose from for this year, and that was the cardigan and this. I want way more to choose from for 2016. That is a goal of mine. Okay, the next thing. Indie Dyer of the Month. Our Indie Dyer of the Month is Amy of Bohemia Fibers, and we are doing a mini skein swap with Amy. She does custom skeins. She has repeatable colorways too, and she makes soaps and hand creams as well. You got to check out her website. She does a lot of stuff. And we're doing a 5-gram mini skein swap in the Spicyhomemaker Podcast group, and it's already full. We are starting a 10-gram mini skein swap. There's a few spots left in that, not many, and we'll be doing that towards the end of January, beginning of February timeframe. So if you're interested, please let me know as soon as you know, okay? If you're sure you want to do that, let me know right away, because I think there's only 3 spots left. So what you do is, I'm calling this particular swap All the Beautiful Things, and you give a picture of something that inspires you. It could be a person, it could be a painting, it could be just simply the colors, anything that inspires you. And we're posting those in the thread. So if you're interested to see what people are coming up with, go ahead and check out. It's really neat to see all the different inspirations out there. There's such a wide variety, and they're so different and clever and unique, and I love it. It's great. So what she does, though, she takes those pictures and she develops a custom skein based on that picture. And then she's going to take those the full skein of yarn and bust it down into 20 mini skeins that are 5 grams each. So you're going to get a custom mini skein of the color that was created with your picture, plus 19 other skeins that were made from everybody else's. So you're gonna get 20 mini skeins, and it's $25 for people in the US and $29 for people that are international. that is a really, really good deal. The same applies for the 10 gram mini swap, although you're only going to have 10 mini skeins. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this and seeing what the skeins look like, these custom colors. It's going to be so interesting and fun. And just think about putting that into your blanket, all these different skeins. And she's created in the thread, Amy has introduced herself on our group. She's talked more about her yarn and some other groups she has. Check it out. If it's anything you're remotely interested in, get in touch with her. So, and that leads me to another point. So this podcast, I really enjoy bringing news to you that you haven't heard. You may have heard some of it, but I'm pretty sure you probably haven't heard of everything that comes across my way, just like I haven't heard everything that you've heard. But I want this to be as much of a community effort as possible. So if there's another podcaster who's watching this and they think, oh, that'd be really cool to do a mini skein swap with my podcast, but I don't want to do that. Melissa already came up with that. She might think that I'm stealing her idea, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking her idea. No. Stop right there. Do this. Do this. People love this. I have to turn people down right now because I don't have enough spots anymore. 20 people for a mini skein swap. Do this with your podcast. Do this with a group of people, your own knitting group. Do this. Indie dyers are what makes our community so fun, so awesome, so great. I don't bring you an indie dyer because I want to have the corner market on them. I bring you an indie dyer because I enjoy them for certain reasons. I want to share them with you, and hopefully you enjoy them too. So please, feel free. Mini skein swap away in your podcast. Please do this, okay? I get no kickbacks from anybody. If you choose to do this, there's nothing. I buy all my stuff from my indie dyers, okay? If I find an indie dyer, they didn't approach me. I found them. Amy, I'm buying my spot in the mini skein swap, okay? So I get nothing out of this other than the pure enjoyment of their yarn. I want to share that with you. So if you want to do this, do it. I highly recommend at some point doing a mini skein swap with some people if you weren't able to get in on this one, okay? So, another thing about that. Okay. And if you ever wonder why podcasters drink on their podcast, if you don't have a glass of water, it's like having an umbrella. If you don't bring your umbrella, it's going to rain, right? If you don't have a cup of water, your throat's going to get scratchy, and sometimes it still does. Or something's going to happen where you just really are kicking yourself, wishing you had a drink of water to help yourself. Your nose is going to itch. Something's going to happen to cause you to do something fidgety or uncomfortable. So it's just best to be prepared, I found. But moving back to Amy of Bohemia Fibers. So, one of the things I want to talk about, I had an interview with her that I had her fill out some questions, and I didn't print that out, and I think that's fine because I'm going to share a little bit about her with each podcast as we go along here. And one of the things that I asked her about was her prices. Her prices are very, very reasonable. Very reasonable. Almost too good to be true, to be quite honest. And so I asked her, I said, you've been doing this for a while. Clearly you're popular. Is there any particular reason your prices are so good? And her response was, I will never forget this as long as I live. I don't even have to have it printed out to know what she said. She said, when she started knitting, and I'm paraphrasing here, okay? But she said when she started knitting that she realized there's a wide range of yarn. And we all love our luxury yarn. I'm not, in no way am I saying don't buy certain yarns. That's not what I'm saying here. But it can get very pricey. It can, right? And not everybody has a budget that accommodates those. And she has some nice luxury yarns as well. But she said, I just think that everyone should have the opportunity to knit with nice yarn. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's really cool. And so yeah, I that's why her prices are so good. She believes that she should share good yarn with you. So I was very impressed by that. The other thing, just some added information about Amy, she also does miniatures. We all have usually another craft other than knitting. And one of hers is she creates miniatures. Like she has a photo album and she does, I think she creates whole houses. And so some of the things she showed me were little tiny potatoes and some bread, and they looked so real and they're so tiny. And I thought, I don't think I've ever known anybody who's ever done that. So I thought that was very, very cool. So yeah, check her out. Check out her website. Start a mini skein swap of your own. Buy some yarn. Give her a picture of your own that maybe you want to see what custom skein she will make for you. Which reminds me, I want to show you guys once again what started all this for me is that I wanted a custom skein that I'm calling kind of my signature colorway. And I showed this on the last podcast, and this is the skein. And it was based upon a Georgia O'Keeffe painting. I believe it was the leaf motif is the painting. And this is the one I picked. So this is the one, if you ever do a mini skein swap with me, you will always have one of these in your package. And I finally came up with a name for the color. I'm going to call this La Dolce Vita, which means in Italian, the sweet life. Because, well, one, my mother's side is Italian. So I pull a lot of inspiration from that. And also, I started thinking, you guys have really been, the knitting community in general, and even more so since podcasting, has been such a sweet spot in my life. I have so enjoyed it. I've had so much fun. It's been wonderful. And yeah, you guys are part of my sweet life, sweet spot. I like it. So I just thought La Dolce Vita seemed very appropriate for it. So community news in our community, knitting community, crafting community. Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast. I'm sure a lot of you watch her. She is a machine, first of all. That woman knits faster than anybody I've ever met. I don't know how she does it. She did say in one podcast that didn't start out that way. She just, you knit enough, you get faster and faster and better, which makes sense. But I think even then, she is exceptionally fast. And Marcia, who is Fairy Little on Ravelry, has challenged her in January to a sock knitting contest. So they're going to see who can knit the most socks. I am curious to see how this works. She's also having a knit along for it. It's in her Ravelry group, the Knitting Expat Podcast group. And so if you're knitting any socks, most of us are, go in there, pop in, post a picture, what do you have to lose? And also, I want to mention 3 podcasts, new to me podcasts that I've watched that I have enjoyed quite a bit. The first one is, she's Classical Girl on Ravelry. Deanna's her real name. And it's Skeins in School is the name of her podcast. And I really enjoy it. She has a little bit of a different spin at the end. I mean, she does knitting, and there's some wonderful projects to see. But she does homeschooling with her kids, and it's really cool to hear how her journey, what started her there, what I think her daughter has graduated out of it. Now she has a younger son, and it wasn't something she thought she would ever do. So that's been in there sprinkled throughout her podcast, which is really, really interesting to hear. And I know there's some homeschoolers out there, or people who have considered it, or maybe people who've just wondered about it. Her knitting is great. She has a lot of some insights that I can relate to. She was talking about being in church and knitting, how it helps her to focus. I get that. Sometimes having something to do with your hands can help you focus a bit better. So, yeah. The other one is Brittany. She has a podcast, and her Ravelry name, I believe, is DFLB. It's called Sip in Stitch. Sip, S-I-P-N, and Stitch. And she's a newer knitter, and so that's kind of cool how she talks about what's going on with that, and how she, one of her goals is to become faster. So she's going to research, or explore, I should say, some other techniques on how to knit more efficiently. My thoughts on that is I do believe that a lot of us could learn different ways to knit to be more efficient. Most of us learned one way and we kind of stuck with it. There are more efficient ways to knit, and more ergonomically correct ways to knit, so it doesn't cause as much pain as sometimes it does. Stephanie Pearl McPhee, I took a class with her at Squam, and she showed a way to knit that was amazing, and it's so different, and it wasn't hard. It's just changing the way you knit takes some time, and she was basically saying it takes 30 days, about 20 minutes each night practicing before you can comfortably change the way you knit. And I believe that, because it's not easy to change some. It's like going from right hand to left hand. If you're a right hand, you write with your right hand and you're going to write with your left hand, it's going to take you a while to do that. And but anyways, you can see how Brittany is exploring that. And also, she's into roller derby. Like, way to change the stereotype of knitters. Like, I love hearing stuff like that. A knitter who is into roller derby. Awesome, just awesome. So the other one that I just recently heard of and just started watching, she has 3 podcasts, a few tutorials, and she's a left-handed knitter, which is awesome, is What Shara Made. She's from Australia. Her name is Shara. It's What Shara Made. She does a lot. She's a designer. She does crochet, she does knitting, she does a lot of things. I believe she sews too. I'm in awe of her already. Check her out if you're looking for something new to watch. Which brings me, I'm gonna go ahead and put this here, and then we're gonna move on to whips. So I was telling you guys how I wanted this to be a community effort, and I truly mean that. So we're gonna see how this goes, but I have a few ideas. And the first, one of my goals, I have some crafting goals for 2016 that I'll share with you towards the end. And I also have podcasting goals. One of my podcasting goals that I want to do is at the end of December next year, I want to release a list of the best for podcastings or podcasts. If you watch, because I can't watch all the podcasts out there. Gosh, there's so many podcasts I wish I could watch. And there's only so many hours in a day. And it's so hard to choose sometimes. It's so hard. I hate that I never get to watch enough. And I truly mean that. There's so many talented people. I wish I could watch them all. But you watch different podcasts than I do. So if there is something particularly awesome about a particular episode, let me know. Send me a PM on Ravelry. Tell me the name of the podcast, what episode, and why you think it's awesome. It could be a particular instance for instance. So I already have 2 podcasts on this list, 2 episodes, and both of them have to do with very, very funny stories in the podcast. I mean, they just crack me up. So I say, for instance, it's okay, let's go with this one. The Naughty Nitwits. They're on my list twice already. I mean, Michelle is, oh my gosh, their stories they're hilarious. If you have not seen her Wicked Confession, watch it. It's towards the end. So see how I said that? Wicked Confession. I'm looking for that. There's a funny, humorous story, and I'll even say in there, it's towards the end. Maybe I'll even put around 45 minutes and 15 seconds. This is where it starts. Not because I don't think you should watch the whole episode, but maybe we have a real extensive list and you're going through it quickly. Maybe somebody shares something personal. Maybe somebody shares an awesome project, a particular technique. Maybe the whole episode just rocked in your opinion. Let me know why. Give it to me, because I want to create a list at the end of the year and release it to everybody. So when you're home for the holidays and you're wanting to binge some podcasts and you want to watch some new ones, this gives you something to go to and say, all right, I already know. In this particular podcast group, I should watch this one and this one. And if you really like them, then maybe you'll go back and watch some other episodes. But I really like that idea, and I can't do that alone. I need your help. So PM me anything that comes across your way. Maybe it's your own podcast and you thought, this one was a really good one. Tell me. It's your podcast. That's great. People want to watch podcasts. And I think they would love the idea of someone curating, which would be the community, the best of the best. Doesn't have to be from just last year. It could be anytime. Okay? So there's that. And let's move right into whips. Okay, so let's go right into my first whip that I'm really excited about. I just started last night. Well, I started it for the second time last night. So this is a test knit for Mina of the Knitting Expat. She does a lot of designs, and I saw the last one she designed, and I instantly said, hey, if you need test knitters, let me know. And oh my gosh, that poor woman. I probably drove her a little crazy because I was so anxious. I wanted to get my yarn ahead of time, and I think I might have bugged her just probably a little too much. I didn't send like a ton of emails, but a couple, but she was so gracious. She always is. And so she's calling this the Highland Peaks shawl. I started knitting this, so whenever she released the pattern to us, it was, I think, Christmas Eve, and I went ahead and ordered my yarn immediately. So it's supposed to be done by January 17th, and I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. But I wasn't sure at the time, and I wanted to have yarn that I thought would be really, really good for the project. Then I started getting a little nervous because it was the holidays, Christmas Eve. I wasn't sure when it was going to come. So I pulled from my stash, and this is a worsted weight. She has this in fingering weight and worsted weight. And I did worsted weight just because I've never knit a shawl in worsted weight, and I thought, I want to try that. So I have great worsted weight, but I don't think I have great worsted weight for a shawl because there's a particular drape I want with most of my shawls. And most of mine is just straight 100% wool. It's a little rougher, and it looks, I mean, if you're gonna, this is mostly garter stitch and with a laced border. And I love garter stitch construction, but I think if you don't have the right yarn, it can look just not as good as it really can. I'm not describing that well at all. Let me just show you what I have. So I started out with what was in my stash, wasn't happy. Finally, the yarn that I ordered came in yesterday, I think. I immediately caked it up because it's the yarn I truly wanted to use, and I cast it on, and this is what I've done since yesterday. And oh my gosh, can I just tell you, I love it, okay? I love this for multiple reasons so far. So this would definitely, particularly this portion, fall into what I would call a comfort knit. This is all garter stitch. There are increases, of course, but not on every row. So this would be a great, great shawl to take on a retreat, to take on a knit night. I think for this portion of it, the stripy portion, there's a lace, and what's I think is great about this is there's a portion of lace at the bottom. So it's a 3-color shawl. I've never done 3 colors, so that was fun picking out the colors. I highly recommend doing that. There's just a lot of options with that. So the yarn that I picked for this, and my friend Amy helped me choose this. She said this, and I got the yarn initially, my first time ever having it was through the Fiberista Sock Club. It's Canopy. It's by the Fiber Company, and it's 50% baby alpaca, 30% merino, and 20% bamboo. So it's so soft. This is going to be my lace border. It has a really good drape. It's soft, it's squishy, it's everything I would want in a worsted weight shawl. Okay, I love how it's knitting up. I like how it looks. Highly recommend this yarn if you're going to do worsted weight. I have some fingering weight, and I enjoy that as well. It is 100 grams, 200 yards, worsted weight. This is their blue parrot. This is done in a white and brown, but that's not what they call it. So it's going to be a white brown stripe with a blue lace border. And those colors are Sarsaparilla is the brown, and Orchid is the natural or the white. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is perfect for this time of year. I have the perfect yarn. This will be done in no time flat. I can't quit knitting on it. In fact, it might even be a monogamous knit. I haven't knit on anything since I started. Love it. Mina, so far, awesome. It's beautiful. It's great. I'm enjoying it. You will see this soon. So there's that. My next whip, which I have, let me see, some socks for sure. Okay, let's start with this. There's not a whole lot, but this is, I did the Christmas Eve cast on with Danny from Little Bobbin's Knits, which I just think that's such a fun idea. I know I think it's her second year doing it, and I love the idea of having such a huge group of people casting on the same day for a project. I just think that's great. It was fun seeing the stuff on Instagram too. I didn't get to cast this on until really late on Christmas Eve night, but this is my Fire and Ice by Dag of Zia Wools. And I have never knit anything with the Fire and Ice. All I wanted to do was look at it and pet it. And I thought, well, this is crazy. You need to knit with this yarn. So I'm knitting some socks with it. And it's with Mina, again, from the Knitting Expat podcast. It's her new sock pattern. I think it's called This Way and That Way. I'll have a link in the show notes for sure. But I'm knitting it on my carbons. I do a 1x1 rib in 2.25 millimeter, and the body of the sock is in 2.75 millimeters. Now, let's talk about this for a second. This is a great pattern, very easy to follow. Little interest for a vanilla sock, you know. She has these slip stitches that kind of do a little zigzag on it. So I started knitting my ribbing, and once again, late at night on Christmas Eve. Still to this day, I have no idea how I did this. It's like a rookie mistake, kind of. But I'm sure many people have done this when they first started knitting. You're knitting in the round, and somehow you reverse it, and you start going the other way. So you could be knitting opposite, or you could keep going back and forth, and basically you're knitting flat, which is kind of what I did. So I'm blaming it on the time of the night. At the top here, it was only connected by maybe 2 stitches, and I was maybe 10 rows in, I think. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I realized what I was doing. The great thing is I didn't mess up the ribbing. I was reading the stitches, so the ribbing was perfectly fine. But there's a little gap, gap at the top. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it so well. Well, anyways, I could have ripped it out and started all over. I didn't want to. I wanted a picture for Instagram. And I thought, you know what? That's what this little tail here is for. I'm going to sew that sucker up and keep on moving. It's a sock. It's ribbing. It's stretchy. Nobody will know but me. And the rest of it's fine. I wasn't too far in that it's going to cause a huge problem. Then the other mistake I made, my youngest son was waiting up for Santa. He would not go to sleep. Whole other story. So I almost always forget to switch to the larger needles. I get about 3 rows into the body of the sock before I realize I'm still knitting on my 2.25s. I never rip back. It's like 3-4 rows. Who cares, right? I just switch to my 2.75s and just keep moving on. And you know what? It's never really made a difference in my socks. So if you are a perfectionist with your sock knitting, you may be horrified by mine. Just saying. But that hasn't gotten too much action since my Christmas vacation. It is in my little Christmas bag from the Fat Squirrel Speaks, Amy Beth. Love it. And 2 more pairs of socks. So the other one. Ha! I still love this bag. I love this bag. I think it was the Bookish Stitcher who said she wanted all her project bags to be from her friends. I love that idea. And this is from my friend Becca. She made this. She's thinking about doing an Etsy shop. I think she makes fantastic bags. I love her fabric. I would buy a bag, Becca. She doesn't do that yet. But I've had a lot of comments on this bag. So This is with my knit along for the Naughty Knitwits. They are doing the Stacy Stalker knit along. And Stacy is the Indie Dyer of Mustache Yarns. She's fabulous. Her yarn's so hard to get a hold of, but I just scored a skein of yarn. I caught the Instagram. It was a very, very unplanned shop update she did, and I was able to get some, so I'm excited. But this is in Everything is Awesome colorway. Here is where my afterthought heel is going. I have not done an afterthought heel yet. Plain vanilla sock. And what do I want to say about this? I think this is going to be for my sister. Actually, I told her it was, so it has to be for her. She has size 10 feet. It's my first sock. I have size 7. I love my sister. She's going to get these socks. She's going to get them. Yes, she is. So that's where I am with it. And gosh darn it, I really wanted to have these done for their knit along. They had plenty of time to do it. I got a little bit of a late start, but I really would have liked to have those finished, but clearly it's not going to happen. The other one, and why these aren't finished is beyond me either. I have no FOs this week, none, okay? This is part of my non-focus knitting. I got to get better at that. My Hermione's Everyday Sock. Look, this is my second sock. I'm almost done. The heel is finished. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I didn't correct the heel on this either. No. Perfect sock knitting. Not going on over here. Not happening. And I'm okay with that. I'm losing no sleep over that. I think it's going to be fine. But Hermione's Everyday Sock in Sundara yarn. Beautiful green colorway. Love this. In my Cat's Kettle bag, the little Japanese knot bags. I love these. Katrina is the Yarn 30 podcast. She makes beautiful yarn. Her updates are, she has a small child at home. So when she does them, she lets people know, but they're not weekly or anything like that. But when she does it, I would highly recommend going over there and doing it, checking out her yarn. So there's that. Let me see here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you the other one. This, okay, so it's been a while. I've knit on this since we've last talked, but I have not knit on this that much. But I want to show you an update on this. So this is with, oh goodness gracious, Casapinka is the name of the designer. And it's, I believe it's called the Loop Shawl. Loop. Now, let's see if we can get this in real good. So this is Madeline Tosh. I think it's called Machida. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to put it in the show notes for sure, though. And it's a soft blue colorway. And I will also put the colorway in the show notes. And it's with the Fire and Ice for the loops. That's done. I've gotten a little bit done on this. I think I'm going to set this up on a schedule, so that I will get this done. Like I've said before in a previous podcast, I'm a tight knitter, so part of what is not making this really, really fun for me is that this loop row here is difficult for me because I knit so tight. It has an increase that is basically one stitch becomes 3. So that's a lot. But I know I'm going to love the end product. So it's not a terrible knit. It's not a great knit for me. Nothing wrong with the yarn, nothing wrong with the pattern. But it'll get done. It's just not going to be something that gets done very, very quickly. So I wanted to show you guys that. And this is the first project that I ever made. It's a drawstring. I made this a long time ago. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you my sock blanket. And why am I going to show you my sock blanket? Because you're going to be very unimpressed when I show it to you. But for 2 reasons. One, I got another project bag from a friend. Her name is Dag. Hi, Dag. Dag sent me the most wonderful box. And I don't think I have hardly anything here that I can't even begin to tell you everything. But this is part of the box. I love this. Look at the back. The back has coffee on it, coffee pots, coffee mugs. The front has this beautiful cute, soft polka dots. And then this has all kinds of stuff written on it. So like there's numbers and there's make stuff. Just keep making. Creativity rules. It says creativity rules right here on the handle. I make stuff. There's just so much on here that I love. It's just, thank you. Thank you, Dag. Thank you so much. The inside, oh my gosh, look at this inside. It's soft. It's like, oh goodness, I'm making sure I don't cover up my mic. It's like a flannel. It's so, oh gosh, I just love this bag. And I thought instantly, this has to have my sock yarn in it or my sock blanket because I wanted to use it a lot. I wanted to see it a lot. And so it does. So my other one is in Molly from a Homespun House. I bought this kit a while back. And I can't really tell you where the blanket is and where the yarn is. It's a little bit of a mix of both. But here is where I am on my blanket. Now, I told you in the last podcast that, oh goodness, there it went. That you can pick so many different ways to do your sock blanket. You could do it by stitch count. The decrease is probably the biggest variable, and the stitch count. I picked the double center decrease, and I'm really, really liking it. Now, the next part of your sock blanket is how you attach it. Let me tell you. Once you do, you have to get over about the 2 to 3 square hump. Once you do that, you will be fine. There's just a little bit of a hump you have to get over. You have to figure that out, how to attach them. It's not hard, but yeah, research it, look into it. I started attaching this one. This is 2 squares from my first pair of socks I ever knit. And this is by, I know this is called Navajo Sunset, and this is the contrasting yarn. Oh, Footprints yarn. Footprints. Oh gosh darn it. I am forgetting the name of the company. It will be in the show notes. But loved it. Loved this yarn. Loved the socks. I think it's beautiful. But when I was attaching this, the first time I attached it, I followed some directions. And it's not that the directions were wrong. It may not have been what I was doing. Because some people don't do straight edges. They let the little diamonds, the points go like this. So they're all like, you know, the points are at the bottom. So I may have been, I don't know if that's what I was pulling from. I really couldn't tell you. But I finally figured out which way I needed to knit and to get the diagonal going in the same spot. What I realized though, once I had it going the right way, is that the decreases, I think I had done 2 of them. They were on the wrong side. So once again, it's a sock yarn blanket. You know, it's a scrap blanket. I'm not going to stress out over this. I just wanted it started. So I just turned it around. As soon as I was done, I corrected it on the next row. And I don't think it's a big deal. I think you can kind of see there's like, it almost looks like the decrease is going like, it's almost like I didn't center it, but it's just because it's missing 2 stitches there from the front. It's fine. No one's going to know when this is a huge thing. So there I am with that. I'm starting on my 3rd one. This is with Kat's Kettle. I'm going to do 2 of hers. I think it's, I always get this wrong, but I will have it in the show notes as well. Stained glass shadows? Because I think I said windows before and it's not. I think it's stained glass shadows. I love this. And she has a coordinating cranberry yarn that I'm going to put right next to it. So I have that. Finally got it started. It's cooking. It's going. The other thing, no, that's it. That is it for whips, all right? I think we've covered it all. Yes, we have. Just making sure. So that's it for whips. No FOs. We come back there. I better have something finished next week. Let's see. Okay, let's go right into stash enhancement. We're almost done. We're wrapping this up. All right, let's start with what I have bought. Yeah, some of this is mail and gifts, so I'm going to show you. Okay, I showed you what I bought with canopy worsted, but I also bought a few more skeins, a couple more, because I knew what I wanted to do, but I wanted a couple more options because it was my first 3-color shawl, and I was just really excited. I really wanted to see it, because you go online, and my computer's really good at showing good colors, but it's still not the same as having it in person and rearranging it and looking at it. And I am one of those people. I love doing that in a yarn store. I can spend half an hour to an hour arranging and rearranging colors. So these were the 2 extra skeins I bought. And this is Obsidian. It's a dark, dark gray, almost black yarn. And this one is Acacia. I should know how to say that. ACAI. And it's, how would I say this? My color is a little off right now because my lighting, which will get better, I've already have that on my list of things to buy. It's not a burnt red or orange, somewhere in between. It's, I don't know how to describe this. That's unfortunate too. Well, but look at them together though. And imagine that with like a natural. That was one of the things I was thinking about for my shawl. So there's that. Okay. The other thing I bought was from Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi podcast, which I love. Hi, Gabby. She dyes yarn, and from what I understand, she's going to be doing a huge shop update in January, and she's going to be putting together kits. She does bags and yarn, so I'm really excited to see what that is. I think she said it was going to be like a high tea theme, which sounds really, really fun. But we did a mini skein swap, and there were 2 of her hand-dyed yarns in there. And as soon as I saw them, I'm like, the first one I did was this one. I knit a little Christmas ornament. And this is her Winter Storm and her fig base. It's 70% merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina, 438 yards. And it's just a really soft, icy blue with almost like a hint of a really, really soft gray. And I loved it. So I instantly PM her and I said, yeah, I want some of this. And then shortly after that, I came across this one. And it's called, there it is. Ah, goodness. Witching Hour. Same thing, fig base. Look at that. Ah, there's some really deep, dusky purples in here and blues, and I just love it. I like blues. I'm going through a blue phase in the last year or so. So I got 2 of those. And is that all that I have bought? I think it is. Wow. That's pretty impressive for me. I did buy a spot in the oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher this. I still haven't got this down. I think it's Yarn at Home in Etsy. And I got some mini skeins from her, from Becca, and I liked it. She had like the speckled donut and some fun colorways. She's doing a sock yarn club for 3 months. And she has a certain amount of spots available, and it's a Disney themed club. I already bought a spot there because I need to buy some of her yarn. I like it a lot. She does a lot of stuff. I will definitely link her in the show notes. You should definitely check her out. Okay, let's go through some mail here quickly. I'm not going to do this justice. I have some of it here, but not all of it. So I want to talk about some cards I got that was just, some of it really unexpected and so sweet. Michelle from the Naughty Knitwits sent me a Christmas card, and I was the worst Christmas person ever this year. I did not send out any Christmas cards this year. None. I'm bad. Bad. Colette sent me this. From France. It's so cute. My son Ashton carried this around, I don't know, like 2 hours when he found it. He thought it was so cool that we got mail from other countries. And I'm missing one. Oh gosh, tell me I didn't. Veronica sent me a postcard from Germany, and she also sent me this. Oh, little heart she crocheted. Totally put that on my tree. I love this stuff, you guys. I really do. It means so much to me when you guys send me handmade items. I mean, really, it just it touches my heart. Thank you. And we'll talk about what my friend Amy sent. She is coming in February, and I really hope she's going to guest on my podcast, be a guest on my podcast in February. So stay tuned. She's a fantastic knitter. Oh my gosh. Just wait. But she made, now I realized after I sent her a text, I think it's a duck, but I called it a chicken. And it has babies. And she sent this for Ruby. Is this not adorable? Ruby loved it. And when she saw it, she called them chickies, which is probably why I call them chickies. They could be chickens, but I don't want to offend her. I think they're ducks, and they look like ducks to me. But anyways, hand knit, beautiful, love them, thank you. And she sent me 2 pom-poms, and I love these, they're so soft. So my question to you guys is this. I have some ideas. I have 2 of these, right? What do you think I should do with them? Tell me. I have some ideas, but I'm curious because I know somebody else will probably come up with something I hadn't thought of. Like I said, there's one more. I love pom-poms. I mean, it's so, oh my gosh, squishy. Maybe I'll just keep them as a stress ball, take them to work. But so I have those. And then, oh my goodness, I forgot one other thing I bought. So I was watching 90% Knitting. She's Fiber Nymph. And she was talking about bags by Awesome Granny. And she had a coupon code, which I used. Look at this. This is a Notions bag. And very well made. She's got her tag in the inside. And it was really fast how quickly it got here. I could not believe it. Look at this. It's children at night catching fireflies. I love everything about this bag. I do. It's blue, which I love. It's kids catching fireflies. It's fun. It brings back memories. This bag makes me smile. And I don't have anything in it, and there will be something soon. In the inside, it looks like it's a fabric that has the fireflies. It's just blue with these like lighted spots. So there's that. Let me show you some more of what Dag sent me. Oh my goodness, Dag, you took my breath away. You did. You really did. This Christmas was a little weird for me, and this year was a bit rough, to be quite honest. And you guys, you made it great. You really did. You made it awesome. You really, really did. And it was a total surprise, all the stuff that I got. She made this. It's a moleskin journal, and this is a fabric that she sewed onto it. And it says, "I am my art." And then she has these beautiful stamps on the inside. And here is a bookmark she made that she sent. This is not everything. She gave me a handmade dress for Ruby. It's a knitted top with a fabric skirt. I've always wanted to do one of those, so it's beautiful. Thank you. Mini skeins. Ooh. I don't know if these are hers. I don't know who sent me these. Oh my gosh, my minis are so messed up. I'm usually putting the cards with my mini skeins so I knew who they came from, but Ruby got into my stash, into my sock bag, and by the time I caught her, they were everywhere. A lot of them, not all of them. So I don't know if these are from her or not. She did send me minis. They're beautiful. Whoever sent me these are beautiful. They're from Dag. They're beautiful. I love them. And she sent me these. These are so clever and so fun. They're little tags that I can use for my minis, right? I can put they're decorated on one side and I can write on the other. I love this. This is such a great idea. I like having these pre-made and putting them on a little clip like this. That's a great idea. And Mel from Australia, who helps me and she moderates, she made me a bag. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's a Christmas bag. Ah, I love this. I love this. This, I need to put socks in this. I'm using this after Christmas. I don't even care. I'm using it. I love using stuff that people I know made me. And I want to show you, well, okay, so a couple things. One, I got so many surprises for Christmas. For Christmas, that was kind of odd for me. It turned out very, very well. It really, really did. My dad knows how I am. My dad and I are a lot alike. My sister and my mom are a lot alike. My dad and I are a lot alike. I told him I wanted, because he does all kinds of things with woodwork and everything. He is so talented. I told him I wanted, and I didn't describe it too well. I didn't really give him any parameters or a drawing or anything. But what I really want from him sometime, and it would take nothing for him to do, is a block of wood, which I'm sure he'll design a little bit more decoratively, with holes drilled into it so that I can put my drop spindles in it for show. I really want one of those. And I know it would take him nothing. I didn't really describe what I wanted. So we didn't really get together on that. But this box, he found at work. They have all kinds of cool things at where he works. And it's like a 50-year-old box. And look, I mean, it's solid wood, dovetailed. It was beat up, and he basically sanded it down and just made it pretty for me again. And then I open it. He made me 2 drop spindles. He Googled it, he YouTubed it, and he made me drop spindles. My dad is so awesome. I think that's really cool. So I wanted to share that to you guys. Okay. The other thing. Oh, goodness. I have stuff everywhere. So I did a Christmas swap with the Itty Bitty Knits, Susan B. Anderson's group. And we sent our stuff in November, so you would get it in time, but you were supposed to open it on Christmas. So I'm in a hotel for Christmas, and my boys opened their gifts from Santa, because I have a 9-year-old who still very much believes in Santa. And they were done, and I was getting ready to take a shower, and then it hit me. I come running back into the room. I'm like, I have presents. I have presents. I was so excited. I forgot about my presents. I brought them with me, and I even had them setting out. So my presents from, her name is Melissa. She's Key Time on Ravelry. I'm not going to tell you what they all were. They all had categories, but she sent me this beautiful tea towel. Look at this. And with instructions on if I wanted to make it into a pillow and some other things. I just think that's gorgeous. It reminds me of something you'd find in Germany. There's that. She sent me, Mother of the Good Shepherd Monastery. 2 skeins of alpaca fiber. She said she has a good friend who works for them. And then, what's this? Buffalo Skies, the Buffalo Wool Company, DK weight. This stuff is premium, okay? Not cheap. This is good stuff. This is like a mega skein of Fly Designs hand-dyed yarn and denim. I mean, what is this? BFL. And it's 660 yards, 8 ounces. Look at this. That's huge. There's that. And I think there was a few other things. I've got some tea and things from people, but yeah, okay, there's that. And I think that wraps it up. Like I said, I got a lot of mail, a lot of gifts. I'm just kind of scratching the surface here. I really wanted to get this podcast out, so not everything is always 100% organized, but I think you get the gist. So, the last thing I want to wrap up with, 2 things. First of all, my goals for 2016. I want to share them with you guys. So I have knitting goals and I have podcasting goals, and here they are. Now, Mina from the Knitting Expat, her podcast really made me think even more detailed, like how do I want to track them? Now, someone said in our group that they didn't like making goals because it took the fun out of knitting, and I get that. I do. I really do understand that. But I know for me personally, I get too distracted a lot of the times. I want to cast on everything, and sometimes that makes me really inefficient. So having some goals is really, really good for me. So my first thing, tonight or tomorrow, I'm doing a cast on for, gosh, I don't even know who the group is, to be quite honest. There's a few people who said they were going to do it. But I am checking off one of my goals, and that's to knit with charts only. So I have a shawl that I want to knit, and it was from a pattern I got at Rhinebeck. If you saw my Rhinebeck review, you'll see it in there. I want to cast that on. It's only charts. I need to cross that bridge. Now, I've always heard everybody say that knits with charts and loves it, that chart knitting is easy. They think it's easier. You can read your stitches better. You can see what's going on. I never really got that, okay, because I don't knit with charts. But Mina had a very simple chart for her this way and that sock pattern, and she has 3 sizes on there, and I'm looking at it, and and it's very easy, okay, it's really easy pattern, but something wasn't clicking on part of it for me. I dropped down to the chart and I instantly got it. Because I could see what was going on, and it was the first time that it clicked for me. I thought, I get it. I understand why people like this. So that's happening. I want to come up with my sock recipe, or at least the one that I like the most. I don't really have it yet. I'm getting there. I want to knit each of my children a pair of socks. Ashton, Kyland, and Ruby. Ruby's 2.5. Ashton is 9, and Kyland is 13. His foot is about the same size as mine right now, so I better hurry up and get on that while I'm still, it's going well. I want to knit cables, which I am knitting the Amande vest, so that will happen, and the boot cuffs. That'll knock that out right off the get-go. I want to knit another sweater for myself. I don't know if it'll be a pullover or a cardigan, either or will work, but I just want to make sure I knit myself another garment. I do want to do that for next year. I want to knit with my gradient yarn. I have 2 big skeins of gradient yarn from Wolof. I think that's how you say it. I want to knit with those. I really like gradient yarns and how they can look in particularly shawl patterns. So I want to do that. I don't want to leave that lingering. And I want to do all my craftsy classes I signed up for. I signed up for 3, and I want to finish them by the end of the year, which I don't think is excessive. There's one on embroidery, basic embroidery. I've never done embroidery. There's one on drop spindling. I need some classes. And the other one is basic sewing. I'm going to sew some pajama pants. So there's that. So see, it's not huge. It's not extensive. I could probably add some more, and I probably will add a little bit more as if you finish it, here's some extras kind of thing. But I want a way to track it and check it. Somebody said they do stickies for each goal, and as they're done, they take the sticky off. I think that's I kind of like that. I don't know if I'll do that yet or not, but the other one is my podcasting goals. I have lots of ideas for this podcast, but I want to be intentional about some of this stuff. And the only way to do that is by planning. And one of the things is, I already shared with you, I want a best of the podcasts list, a best of by December of next year. I'm going to share the other one last. I need new lighting, and that should be coming within the next month. Jenny and Devin from Tiny Paper Foxes and Andy from Andre Sue Knits were so helpful in so many ways. Thank you so much, guys. There was a few things I asked them. I'm like, hey, kind of hit a roadblock. What do I do? So they've made it very easy, and so I'm upgrade to lighting coming soon to you. My title slides. Okay, so I have a great friend who is fantastic in graphic design. She has her own business, so she's helped me a few times, but I don't want to, take advantage of her. And so I have there's a few more things I want to do for my title. I have the music that I want. I have the first slide that I want, but I want to do an episode slide that's there, but I don't know how to modify it. And I want to do a few more things. I want to get that done. And I also want to kind of create a bit of a template for my podcast, just to kind of make it a bit easier for the editing. So that's a goal. And I will need to get on iTunes. I really want to get on iTunes. That's coming soon too. Now the other thing is, and I don't know if it's going to happen, so that's why I'm telling you this at the end. I would love to do 3 podcasts next year with 3 other podcasters. I don't know how that's going to happen. I have some ideas. I like to run, so maybe I'll just have races. I like to go all over for running. Maybe I'll just conveniently schedule a race next to somebody. Hopefully somebody would like for me to podcast with them. But I think that'd be a lot of fun. I want to meet some of the people in person, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. I don't have, like a lot of you guys have people you podcast with, which I think is so much fun and so great. I would like to have 3 for next year. Or maybe we'll just put it on your list. I don't care, whatever. So we'll see. So that's it for my podcasting goals. The other thing, I think we're wrapping up. Wow, this is long, and my other light on top of my camera has went out. It needs new batteries. I'm hoping my microphone battery is still working. Christmas. I want to share with you one thing about our Christmas. We went to North Carolina, me and my boys did, Ashton and Kyland. We drove there 12 hours, and my sister has 4 children. They're ages 1, 2, 4, and 6. It is a lively house. Lots of fun. We had so much fun. We stayed at a hotel with a pool, so a lot of times we get together, kids, and put them in the pool, which is great for December. They live out in the country, so there's chickens everywhere, horses, cows. It was great. Had a lot of fun catching up. Way overdue for a visit. But my son Kyland is 13. Both my kids. I teach cooking pretty early. I love cooking. Okay, I love it. Love it. And I encourage kids in the kitchen. I do. Scrambled eggs is usually one of the first things I teach kids how to make. It's so easy. And who doesn't like cracking eggs, right? So my son's 13 and I work kind of late. Well, relatively speaking. By the time you get home making dinner and homework, it's a lot. So I've had him start dinner now. He's home for a little while by himself before I get home. Not too long. Not too long at all. But he made gumbo. And it was phenomenal. Now, it was a package, so it was like a kit. He fried up some sausage and did this mix. He hasn't added shrimp to it yet, but that's the next step. So we all loved it. Everybody loved it. Ruby loved it. The 2-year-old, my daughter, Ashton loved it. We all loved it. And we were talking about that in North Carolina, and they said, why doesn't he make that for us one night? So he did. It was a big hit. It was a big hit, and they liked it. And so yeah. I thought that was fun. I would really love to do a special episode with him where he's cooking. We kind of kicked around the idea of doing a blog together, calling Noshing with my mom. We'll see. You know how it is. Everything, requires time. But I think doing a couple episodes that are just, little special bits with him would be a lot of fun. So we'll see how that goes. But that's really it. I want to say Happy New Year. 2016. Wow. Got my party earrings on. Do you have your party earrings on? Yeah, thanks so much for spending some time with me. I look forward to spending more time with you later. And for now, happy making. Bye.